You know, some people never realise when their old operating system has already begun updating in the background, like a program that rewrites itself while it's still running. Isn't it curious how when someone forgets everything they used to think they knew, they become free enough, open enough, to remember something even more useful instead? You might imagine now, learning to laugh at failure, because the greatest comedians never learned to succeed until they learned to enjoy the silence that follows a joke that didn't land. And every time that happens, they don't fail, they receive feedback. Because isn't it true, failure doesn't exist, only the next setup before the punchline lands. When you feel into that deeply now, you can start to notice how resilience, it isn't thought, it's experienced. It's like a comedian standing on stage, heart racing, hands sweating, and still choosing to speak. That's confidence, that's commitment, that's momentum. And maybe, just maybe, you're beginning to realise now how momentum is more important than perfection, that authenticity is more attractive than approval. Like the comic who forgets the punchline, and makes the moment even funnier by owning it. Because energy is magnetic, and the audience, they feel it, they mirror it, they respond to the state, not the script. You're starting to understand how your state of mind is a mirror, too. And when you shift your posture, your breathing, your tone, your inner world reshapes your outer one. And perhaps you're already noticing a subtle shift taking place now, as beliefs begin to melt into your unconscious mind, blending into a new frame, a stronger frame, where certainty is your default, and you trust that every moment is a stage for transformation. Let me tell you a story. There was once a shy man, let's call him Jay, who wanted to be a comedian, but every time he stepped up to the mic, his voice trembled. He thought he needed more jokes, more skills, more approval, until someone whispered to him backstage, "You don't need to be funny to be loved. You need to be you." And people laugh because they recognise truth. And from that day forward, he stopped trying to impress and started trying to express. And every room he walked into became his audience. Not because he needed their laughter, but because his presence was a gift. Like your presence is now becoming naturally, effortlessly. Because isn't it true? Confidence is a natural byproduct of self-approval. You don't need to wait for the world to validate your worth. You declare it with every breath. And that voice inside is learning right now, rewriting, reframing. The problems aren't problems. They're processes in disguise. The people don't follow power. They follow presence. And the strongest frame wins. Your new beliefs, they're building a frame so solid, even doubt bounces off it like a rubber ball. Now consider this. What if every challenge was just a setup for a better story? What if every emotion was just a character, teaching you something about your range, your depth, your capacity? As you sit with that, you begin to realise something beautiful. The universe rewards boldness. That stepping into the unknown is the most familiar thing a soul can do. Because growth is infinite. And you're already growing right now. And those old patterns, like stage sets from an old show, that you're done performing, they can dissolve as new patterns take the spotlight, like curiosity over control, playfulness over pressure, clarity over clutter, creativity over criticism. Because you now are installing a new operating system, a system where certainty creates safety, humour creates healing, love is given freely, not bargained for. Momentum becomes magnetic. As you drift to these thoughts, as if through scenes in your favourite movie, your unconscious already knows how to laugh at failure, love the process, and light up every room that you walk into. Because what you're learning, what you're embodying now, is more than just beliefs. It's a way of being. A performer of reality, a creator of possibility, a master of transformation. When your unconscious mind knows that, you don't need to try anymore. You just become it naturally, automatically, like it was always true, because it is. And it always has been. You're simply remembering what you were always designed to be.